So we're going to break this story down and dig a little bit deeper into the words, into the pictures, and what the story is doing so far. So, three things that I want you to be looking for today, or learning for today. Repeated lines is the most important one. So we're going to see if we see repeated lines when we go from page to page. Also, I want you to look to see if you see any surprises, something that surprises you, something that you think the author, the person that wrote this book, may have made a surprise, or something you think maybe someone else might find a surprise. And also, I want you to try to find things that are funny, just like the surprises. Something you think the author thought that would be funny, the person that wrote the book maybe wanted it to be funny, that you think is funny, or something else that you think another person might think is funny. So, funny things, surprises, and repeated lines. So, our first page right here says, George's mother said, and there's George's mother, and so far there's no repeated lines. Let me grab a tool. So far there's no repeated lines. So far I don't really see any surprises. There's not anything that's like jumping out to me. It's just a dog, and she's going to say something, and she's a mom. It's pretty easy, and there's not really anything funny going on. Some people might say like maybe the little scarf she's got on is funny, but I mean it's not sticking out too much, and it's not really the words. That's what we want to pay attention to most is the words. Are the words funny, and the surprises, and are there repeated lines in the words? Let's go to the next page. Bark, George. George went meow, and you guys already know this part. So immediately, are there any repeated lines? No, all of this is brand new, so there's no repeated lines yet. Let's take a look at surprises. You see any surprises? Yeah, I see one. Meow. That surprised the heck out of me. Whenever a dog went to go arf, bark for his mom and he says meow, that's a surprise. And what's fantastic about that surprise is that it was also funny. Whenever he meowed, it was funny. I was not expecting that. It took me off guard, to surprise me, and that made it funny too. So that was also funny. So we don't have repeated lines, but we do have a surprise and something that's funny on this page. Let's go to the next page. No, George, said George's mother. Cats go meow, dogs go arf. Now bark, George. George went quack, quack. All right, so first thing I want you to pay attention to is where it says now bark, George. If you go back to the last page, she says bark, George. She's repeating herself and telling him to bark again. So our first one where it says repeated lines, she absolutely repeated herself. So we do have our first repeated line in here. And I think it's showing that she's concerned and she wants him to try to bark again, thinking like, oh my gosh, maybe he forgot how to bark, maybe he's broken. And she's asking him to repeat because she's getting worried about him. That's what that meaning behind that repeated line is so far. And she also teaches him, no, cats go meow, dogs go arf. Now try again. She's trying to teach him, which is a good thing for mothers to do. What about a surprise? What was surprising to you? The quack quack, absolutely. That surprised me too. What was funny? The quack quack. Dogs are supposed to go quack quack. So the surprise turned it into something that was funny. Some people might even say right here's funny that she's checking on her kiddo, that it's cute. And sometimes cute things are funny. So you could even say that part too. But definitely the fact he said quack quack and he's a dog is funny and it's a surprise. And then we saw that repeated line. So before we go to the next page, I want you to pay attention to this entire section right here. No, George, said George's mother. Cats go meow. She teaches him the sound. Dogs go arf. She teaches him his sound. Now bark, George. Let's see what happens on the next page. No, George, said George's mother. Ducks go quack quack. Dogs go arf. Now bark, George. She repeated herself again. So she's getting worried about him. She's saying, no, George. Ducks are the ones that go quack. You need to say arf. Now try again. She's a concerned mother and she's repeating herself. And the reason that we're paying so much attention to those repeated lines because it's teaching you more meaning about the mother dog. She's concerned about her pup, or else she's just like, yeah, we'll try again later. She's not having it. We need to try over and over. You've got to get this right. She thinks there's something wrong with her puppy. Those repeated lines are there and they're teaching us something. They're giving us more meaning to the story. George went oink. That's a surprise. Now we're kind of expecting him to say animal noises, but we don't know what's showing up. So we could have thought it was a horse sound, a sheep sound, another duck sound, a dog, or he may have barked that time. We don't know. So it's a surprise every time. So we definitely had a surprise on this page. And then was it funny? Yes, any animal, even when a pig says, it's funny. So when a dog says it, it makes it even funnier. So yeah, that part's funny. All right, so this last page on here is actually going to be what you're going to be doing on your own in the Nearpod. So pay attention to what Miss Acton was talking about, those repeated lines, things that were surprising to you, and things that were funny, because you're going to do that stuff on your own here in the next page. So good luck.